What's up traders, welcome to Failure to Displace, and in this video we're going to take a quick look at the London market session review on EURUSD just to see what opportunities were available to us. We are starting off on our 5-minute chart at the moment. We've got our Liquidity Tracker Indicator on the charts. Links to the indicators are all in the description below. And we're going to start our analysis by seeing what levels of untapped liquidity we've got above and below us. So our green levels of untapped liquidity are from the New York PM session low yesterday. We've got Asia low, which has been untapped, Asia high, which has been untapped, and then yesterday's high as well, which has been untapped. I've had a couple of comments coming back, people trying to understand how we can view consolidation versus trending markets. So today I would say was a good example of a consolidation market. And the Asia session is not breaking away from the New York PM session. And then coming into our London open hour, we're inside the Asia range. So there's no breakouts happening here. If we contrast that to yesterday, we could see that Asia was breaking down, broken out of the New York PM session range. And then as we were coming into our London session, we could see that we were breaking below the Asia session with displacement. So if you look at these two side by side, you can see obviously there's much more momentum in this move than there is here. So this is what I look for as a consolidation. So this is where we would be looking for a sweep of liquidity and then our 5-minute OTE entry possibly. Whereas this market is where we're looking for a retracement back into the Asia range, which is the trade that we got yesterday at the optimal trade entry, but then to continuation lower through the day. So again, the comparison between the two, you can see New York PM session and Asia, they're basically consolidating in the same range. As we're coming into London, we are inside the Asia range. There's no momentum here compared to yesterday where the PM session broke low, pulled back a little bit. Asia then broke even lower. We had a pullback and then continuation. So we can see the trend from yesterday, whereas today there's no obvious trend, much more of a consolidation day. So let's jump into today's price action now and see what opportunity we get offered. So now we are looking for a sweep of either the Asia high or the Asia low, and then our 5-minute break of structure for our optimal trade entry. So this, just to clarify, is not a break of structure. This is the high just up here, which led to the low. So that's our break of structure point. This high led to this low. So this is just an internal liquidity. We're not sweeping external liquidity. So this is not a valid break of structure for me. This is just internal liquidity. So I'm not going to be looking for any kind of entries based on this candle breaking structure. I want to see external liquidity broken, which currently is this one. So our dealing range is here to here. Let's mark this as sell side so we can see. So that's our dealing range in between the break of structure and the sell side. As long as we're inside that range, I'm not bothered about what happens. I need to see a break of one of those levels now to get me interested in a trade. So we've broken the sell side, which means that now we have new sell side below us and we have a new break of structure. So currently this high is now our break of structure. So we're breaking lower. Obviously the sell side can move lower because this is our new swing low. This is still our break of structure. So this is the last swing high that created the new swing low. So we need a body closure above this level for a valid entry. Okay, so we've made a new low now and we've got a new break of structure high. So this blue candle, this bullish candle, is the last swing high that created the new swing low. So we need a candle body close with displacement above for a break of structure to be confirmed. Here's our candle body close. break of structure, and a fair value gap. So that's all three of our criteria met. We've broken structure, we've had candle body closes above, and we've left displacement. So this now allows us to pull our optimal trade entry from the low to the high. We're looking at the 618, which is just down here. So our entry will be at the 618. Let's scroll forward and see if this comes back to it. We've gone a little bit higher, so we need to pull our Fibonacci up a little bit higher again, starting to pull back. So we're coming close now, so we'll trigger our entry based on the 618. Our stop loss is at the low. Our target is a 3R trade. Now how I traded this is slightly different to how I outlaid this in my tutorial video. I took 50% of the trade off as we broke this swing high. The reason for this, let me just double click this. So this is my TP1. Let's stick it on the right hand side here. So TP1 is this line. The reason I'm taking TP1 here is we have red folder news, which has dropped now that I've recorded this. Red folder news at, this is 8:30 New York time. So because we've got red folder news, and specifically as well looking at this, look, it's non-farm related employment news, makes me very, very cautious. I'm being super aggressive now on my take profits. So I'm going to take 50% of the trade off, and then I'll leave the rest to run to a 3R. See if we get tagged in. So we have been tagged in. Price rejects away, lovely. Taking us to risk-free very, very quickly. So that's 50% of the trade closed. I'm not moving the stop loss because price will often come back to entry before accelerating away. One thing that I've noted is that we haven't tapped the Asia high and we haven't tapped yesterday's high as well. So these are the two levels that I'm interested in, hoping that we've caught this trade now to drive higher. But obviously I'm aware that we have got red folder news dropping at 8:30. So we can see it here. We're not too far away from the red folder news. We'll pull back. As I said, price does come back to entry quite often. So we're back at entry. And unfortunately, we are stuck in tight consolidation until 8 AM New York opens. We've swept the low. So that comes out. So basically, because I took TP1 there, 1.6. So we took a 0.6R, but I only took half of that, so it was 0.3R. So I took a tiny bit of profit on that one. But we didn't reach our full 3R. If you'd have closed at 2R, you'd have taken a full 2R trade. But I was hoping that really the draw was here. We can see what happens as we move forward. The idea was correct. Price though, when the news drops, just went absolutely crazy. So we got took out by a pip. We did come up to tap 3R before the news dropped. We were at 3. So you can see here, price just by a pip took the low and then ultimately hit the 3R profit. So I didn't take the full 3R, unfortunately. And then when the news dropped, it took out the previous day high and the Asia high like we expected. This is the risk of the news, and this is why you need to be securing positions before news drops, because who knows where it's going to go. Before I end the video, I thought I'd show you the pound chart as well, because I did take 2 trades on the pound this morning, 1 loss and 1 break-even trade again. We can see in comparison to the Euro USD chart that we were just looking at, the pound is actually breaking higher, so the pound is stronger at the moment. It has taken previous day's high, whereas the euro obviously had failed to take the high and was pulling back. So this, I was thinking, was going to be a continuation trade because pound is breaking out of Asia. Coming into London, we were pulling back a little bit inside the range. I had my optimal trade entry from the Asia range, sorry, for the first trade that I took. So we were approaching the optimal trade entry as the session opened. So I dropped onto the 1 minute chart. And I don't believe there was actually a valid entry at this point. So price came back down, tapped optimal trade entry. This is our break of structure at the moment. It didn't, it continued lower. So there was no entry at optimal trade entry of the Asia range. At which point, pulled the Fibonacci from the bottom of the New York PM session range, because this is one larger range here. So look for optimal trade entry here, which coincides with sweeping Asia low as well. So I started eyeing up Asia low for possible trades. We swept Asia low just at this point here. So I started looking for the ICT 2022 mentorship model then for an entry, which would be a break of structure at this point. New break of structure is now here. So here we got the candle body close above for a break of structure. The entry is going to be from the first fair value gap inside this range. Stop loss below that low. So it came back, tapped this. So I didn't take this first fair value gap because it was outside that range. I took this fair value gap. Let's zoom in so that you can see, because this is inside the break of structure leg. I took this fair value gap as my entry. And I was targeting these equal highs here for this trade. So we have relative equal highs, buy side liquidity for just under 3R. See, price reacted initially from the fair value gap, but unfortunately it just melted through. So that was one loss for the morning. We are now getting close to the New York PM session low. I will jump back onto the 5 minute chart. I was eyeing New York PM session low then for a potential second entry. We have just swept the low. The break of structure now is here. This was our break of structure because we put in a new low. So let's zoom in, scroll forward a bit quickly there. So we came down, we put in this high, break of structure here, break of structure with a body close, no fair value gap. So there's no entry at this point. Took the low again. So our break of structure is up here. We have a fair value gap. We need a body close above this level now. We have a body close just on this candle here. So this validates our optimal trade entry. Pull from the bottom to the top. So we were looking for an entry on the 618, which is onto this order block. Stop loss below the low. Again, targeting 3R. But again, the same as the Euro trade, I took a TP1 as we broke the high. So price came back. Oh, sorry, let's just pull up. I'm on the wrong one here. Let's tidy this up a little bit. So we'll get tagged in. Nice reaction again, leaving it. So this is TP1 again. So I took 50% of the trade off, leaving the rest to run. At this point I was just going for a 3R. So that was my ultimate target. And then likewise we've got the news dropping. Pound just began to consolidate. Didn't quite take us out there, so I nearly got stopped out, but it didn't. Then consolidated above. Never really took off. And then took us out again as New York opened. So that's 2 break-even trades basically, 1 on euro, 1 on the pound, and then 1 loss today, based on trying to do the 2022 mentorship instead of going for the OTE entry that we had there. So that's my 3 trades for the day. I'm done. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments section below, and consider subscribing to the channel. I'm dropping videos and analysis every single day. I'll see you again soon in the next video.